In November of 2004, a residential insurance underwriter named Arthur Vance was sent to evaluate an old order Amish farmhouse in Wayne County, Ohio, for a policy renewal. His inspection checklist was standard: examine the roof, check the foundation, and assess the mechanical systems in the basement. When Vance walked down the wooden stairs to inspect the domestic hot water heater, he expected to find what every inspector finds: a rusting, 50-gallon steel cylinder heavily wired to a 220-volt electrical panel or piped into a metered natural gas line. Instead, he found a massive, unpainted, heavily insulated steel holding tank suspended near the ceiling joists. There were no electrical Romex wires running to it. There was no gas line. There was no mechanical pump. There was just a heavy copper pipe dropping down from the tank, disappearing through the ceiling above, and a second copper pipe returning from the floor above, feeding back into the tank. Vance checked the manufacturer's plate welded to the side of the steel reservoir. It was dated 1942. The system had been running continuously for 62 years. Vance placed his hand on the exterior of the tank. It was radiating massive, intense heat. He went upstairs to the kitchen, opened the heavy brass faucet, and was immediately met with a violent blast of 140-degree, scalding hot water, 62 years of flawless high-pressure, blistering hot water, and the system had never drawn a single watt of electricity from the grid. Vance had just stumbled onto a piece of indestructible off-grid thermodynamics known as the Gravity-Coil. It is a closed-loop mechanical engine that completely eliminates the need for an electric water heater. It operates on a principle of physics so absolute that it cannot break, cannot short-circuit, and costs absolutely $0 a month to run. If you have ever written a $1,500 check to a plumber because your modern water heater rusted out and flooded your basement right on its scheduled 10-year death cycle, you have found the right channel. Hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now, because the blueprints we are pulling from the archives today completely expose the multi-billion-dollar appliance monopoly. By the end of this documentary, you will understand exactly how the Amish weaponized gravity to heat their water, and why the modern plumbing industry aggressively lobbied to have this 100-year-old technology outlawed in your neighborhood. To understand the brilliance of the Gravity-Coil, you first have to understand the parasitic trap of the modern American water heater. Heating domestic water accounts for roughly 20% of the average home's entire energy bill. The utility companies love this because the modern electric water heater is astonishingly inefficient by design. It forces you to pay to keep 50 gallons of water piping hot 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when you are asleep, even when you are at work, and even when you are on vacation. But the energy drain is only half the scam. The true profit lies in planned obsolescence. Modern water heaters are nothing but cheap steel tanks lined with a microscopic layer of glass. Because water naturally corrodes steel, the appliance manufacturers install a piece of magnesium or aluminum called a sacrificial anode rod. The corrosive elements in the water attack this rod instead of the steel tank. But what the manufacturer doesn't tell the average homeowner is that this rod completely dissolves in about 5 to 8 years. The exact moment that rod is gone, the water violently attacks the cheap steel walls of the tank. The tank rusts through, the bottom blows out, your basement floods, and the appliance industry gets to sell you a brand new $200 unit. They have engineered a mandatory subscription fee into the very plumbing of your house. The Amish completely rejected this cycle of dependency. They don't use fragile electrical heating elements, and they don't buy glass-lined tanks engineered to die. They use a principle of physics called thermosyphoning. In the dead of an Ohio winter, the Amish farmhouse is kept warm by a massive central wood-burning stove or a masonry heater. Inside the firebox of that stove, hidden directly in the licking flames, the Amish builder installs a heavy-duty Schedule 80 steel water jacket or a thick copper coil. This coil is connected to 2 pipes. One pipe runs up to a heavy, elevated holding tank suspended on the floor above the stove. The other pipe runs from the bottom of the tank back down to the coil. Here is the 100-year-old physics secret that the plumbing industry stopped teaching. Cold water is physically heavier and denser than hot water. As the family burns scrap wood to heat the living room, the flames aggressively heat the water trapped inside the copper coil. As that water heats up, it expands, becomes lighter, and naturally rises up the pipe, dumping into the elevated holding tank. Simultaneously, the heavy, cold water at the bottom of the holding tank is pulled down by gravity into the exact same coil to replace the hot water that just left. This creates a relentless, silent, incredibly powerful vacuum loop. The fire pushes the hot water up, Gravity pulls the cold water down. The water races through the pipes in a continuous high-speed cycle, entirely driven by thermodynamics. There are no electric circulation pumps to burn out. There are no computer motherboards to short circuit. As long as there is a fire in the stove to keep the house warm, the gravity coil is silently packing 50 gallons of blistering hot water into the elevated tank. The family gets hot showers, boiling water for laundry, and perfectly sanitized dishes, all harvested as a 100% free byproduct of simply heating their living room. So, if a $300 loop of copper and a steel holding tank can provide infinite hot water for over 60 years without a single repair, why is a licensed plumber legally forbidden from installing this in a modern suburban home? Because the plumbing industry recognized that the gravity coil was too efficient. It threatened to destroy the entire recurring revenue model of the appliance manufacturers. So, they didn't attack the physics, they weaponized the building codes. In the late 1950s, as the American suburbs rapidly expanded, the newly formed plumbing and appliance syndicates brought a terrifying narrative to municipal zoning boards. They argued that any solid fuel water heater, anything attached to a wood stove, was essentially an unexploded bomb waiting to level a city block, and from a strictly chemical standpoint, they were using a real fear to push their agenda. When you heat water, it physically expands. If a wood stove burns too hot and that water reaches 212 degrees Fahrenheit, it flashes into steam. Steam expands to 1,700 times the volume of liquid water. If that expansion happens inside a sealed, rigid steel tank, the pressure violently spikes until the steel rips apart in a catastrophic event known as a BLEV, a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. The appliance industry told the regulators that the only way to prevent these explosions was to mandate fail-safe electric heating elements. With an electric tank, if the water gets too hot, a computer sensor simply shuts off the electricity. But you cannot simply unplug a roaring oak fire, because a wood stove cannot be instantly turned off with a switch. The regulators classified solid fuel water coils as an uncontrollable thermal hazard and systematically wrote them out of the International Plumbing Code. They made it legally impossible for a licensed plumber to connect a wood stove to a pressurized residential water main, but the Amish master builders never used sealed pressure vessels. They bypassed the entire multi-million-dollar regulatory argument by utilizing a piece of ancient Roman engineering called the atmospheric open vent. If you climb into the attic of that Wayne County farmhouse, directly above the massive steel holding tank, you will see a simple open-ended copper pipe extending straight up and passing right through the roof of the house, completely open to the sky. The Amish system is not a sealed, pressurized bomb. It is an open system. If the family builds a massive fire during a blizzard and the water inside the thermosyphon loop actually reaches a boiling point, the system doesn't pressurize. It doesn't stress the steel. It simply exhales. The excess steam harmlessly travels up that open vent pipe and dissipates into the winter air above the roofline. Because the tank is open to the atmosphere, it is physically, mathematically impossible for the pressure inside the tank to ever exceed the air pressure outside the tank. It cannot explode. It is an immortal, self-regulating thermal engine that requires 0 computer chips and 0 emergency shutoff valves. But the appliance industry had a second argument. They claimed that even if the tank didn't explode, a copper coil sitting directly inside a 1,000-degree fire would quickly scale up with calcium, clog solid, and burn through. If you have hard well water, like most off-grid properties do, the calcium and magnesium bake onto the inside of hot pipes, destroying them in a matter of years. Modern plumbers solve this by forcing you to buy a $2,000 electric water softening system. The Amish solved it using a double-jacketed indirect exchanger. The water that flows through the copper coil inside the fire is not the water that comes out of the shower head. It is a completely isolated secondary loop. The Amish fill that fire loop with distilled water or a non-toxic propylene glycol antifreeze. Because it is a closed loop, the exact same 3 gallons of pure, mineral-free water thermosyphons round and round, from the fire to the holding tank and back again for decades. But how does it heat the shower water? The massive steel holding tank suspended from the ceiling is actually a tank inside a tank. The boiling hot, mineral-free water from the stove rises up and floods the outer jacket surrounding the inner tank with intense radiant heat. The fresh, cold well water sits safely inside that inner tank, absorbing the heat through the steel wall without ever actually touching the fire loop water. Because the fire coil is never exposed to new minerals, it never scales, it never clogs, it never burns through. This is exactly why Arthur Vance found a system from 1942 still delivering scalding hot water 62 years later. The Amish engineered a system where the moving parts are made of gravity, the fuel is scrap wood, and the wear and tear is displaced by flawless fluid dynamics. So how do you get that scalding hot water from an unpressurized, open-vented tank in the ceiling to violently spray out of a modern showerhead on the first floor? The regulators want you to believe you need a high-wattage electric booster pump, but the Amish simply combined the thermosyphon coil with the exact same gravity feed math we uncovered in our 1962 Pipe Secret documentary, because the massive double-jacketed holding tank is suspended in the attic, or at the highest point of the second floor. The water inside possesses massive stored gravitational energy. When you open the shower valve on the first floor, that heavy column of hot water violently drops through a wide-diameter pipe, creating its own natural, pumpless pressure. Gravity feeds the cold water into the fire, and gravity pushes the hot water out of the showerhead. It is a flawless, unbroken loop. But there is a massive physical danger to this level of efficiency. The water sitting in that elevated tank isn't just warm, driven by a roaring winter fire, it is often pushing 180 degrees Fahrenheit. If that water hits a showerhead directly, it will cause third-degree burns in seconds. Modern smart homes solve this with complex, digital temperature-sensing motherboards. The Amish solve it using a brilliant piece of completely analog, zero-electricity hardware called a thermostatic mixing valve. Mounted on the pipe right below the holding tank is a heavy brass manifold. One side of the manifold takes in the 180-degree boiling water from the Gravity-Coil. The other side takes in the freezing, 50-degree cold water straight from the well. Inside this brass valve is a heavy, heat-sensitive wax element. You manually turn a dial on the outside of the valve to your perfect safe shower temperature, say 115 degrees. As the water flows through, the wax physically expands and contracts, perfectly bleeding the cold water into the boiling water in real time. If the fire is raging and the water is too hot, the wax expands, pinching off the hot line and opening the cold. It delivers flawless, safe, spa temperature water to the entire house, automatically adjusting itself every second without a single wire or microchip. So, what is the exact hardware list to rip the parasitic electric water heater out of your basement and build this thermal heart for $300? The Fire Loop 80, a length of heavy wall, annealed copper tubing or Schedule 80 steel pipe, bent into a spiral or U shape, mounted directly inside the firebox or flue of your wood stove. The heat exchanger tank 100, a salvaged, unpressurized stainless steel drum or a recycled indirect water heater tank sourced from an HVAC surplus yard. The safety manifold 70, an industrial-grade, solid brass thermostatic mixing valve. The lines and vent 50, standard PEX tubing to plumb the loop, including the critical open-to-sky atmospheric vent pipe that makes explosions mathematically impossible. For $300, you have engineered an immortal piece of thermodynamics that will literally outlive your mortgage. But if you try to put this on an architectural blueprint for a new suburban build, the municipal code enforcement officer will immediately deny the permit. As we discussed, they have legally mandated that all primary residential water heaters must have certified electrical emergency shutoffs. To build this legally today, modern off-gridders use the auxiliary hydronic loophole. When the building inspector comes to your property, you do not show him the Gravity-Coil. You show him a standard, cheap, code-compliant electric water heater sitting in the corner of your basement, wired to the panel. To the inspector, your house meets every letter of the International Plumbing Code, but what the inspector doesn't see is the plumbing behind the tank. You pipe the boiling hot water from your wood stove's Gravity-Coil directly into the cold water intake of that electric tank. You leave the electrical breaker on the panel permanently flipped off. When you turn on the shower, the hot water from the wood stove flows into the electric tank and immediately out to the showerhead. The electric heating elements never turn on because the water entering the tank is already 140 degrees. The mandated electric tank is completely castrated. It acts as nothing more than an insulated storage locker for the free water you heated with scrap wood. You satisfy the bureaucratic ink on the paper, while completely severing the financial chain to the utility company. A modern subdivision is not designed to keep you comfortable. It is designed to keep you consuming. You pay the bank for the mortgage, you pay the appliance company every 10 years for a rusted-out tank, and you pay the utility monopoly every single month just to wash your hands. The $300 Amish Gravity-Coil proves that the most expensive utility bill in your home is entirely optional. I want you to head down to the comments right now and tell me, if you had an infinite supply of 180-degree boiling water generated for absolutely $0, what would you use it for? Would you run endless hot showers, build an off-grid hot tub, or pipe it through your floors for free radiant heating. Your comments destroy the algorithm's suppression filters and force these historical blueprints into the feeds of millions of Americans who are tired of being bled dry. If you are finally ready to stop renting your infrastructure and start owning your survival, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We are building the ultimate archive of off-grid sovereignty. You now know how to capture the wind, pump the water, cook with the earth, and heat your plumbing for free. But next week, we are taking on the most heavily regulated, terrifying monopoly in modern housing, the $20,000 septic and sewer industry. We are pulling the archival blueprints on the 100-year-old Amish BioVault a zero water, completely off-grid sanitation architecture that safely digests human waste into sterile, odorless earth using forgotten thermophilic physics. The municipal health departments have weaponized their building codes to force you onto their fragile sewer grid, but I am going to show you the exact legal loophole to build your own indestructible system for under $400. Stay vigilant, stay independent, and I will see you in the next one.